Hey yo, welcome to the QB School Show. Let me know that it sounds good, looks good, everything's good. Hit me with your favorite emoji. See people already coming at me with the where's the music? People hating on the music. Coach Gray's, now it's gone. I haven't put it back. Got a new system, new rig still. Still trying to figure out where everything is. Man, I'll get the theme music back. I don't even remember what it was, to be honest with you. My man Nick, good to have you here. Eric, good to see some familiar faces in here. Pats fan, huh? We're going straight heater. I like it, Michael. Ted Yee, appreciate it. All right, well, fired up for a little live. Been a hot minute, not gonna lie. It's been a little bit of a cluster over here. Just lots of moving parts. Got a course coming out today. Really been sitting on this course for a while. Did it all the way back at the start of summer. Wanted to share it earlier. It's what happens when your computer blows up. Things just get pushed back. So certainly going to talk some tempos tonight. Certainly going to talk some football. We're in the thick of it, right? October. It's that time of year. So many good storylines. It's good to see we've got some diehards in here. I love it. So if they're, oh, look at that. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Silver in the house, loving some shitcoin. It's all about it. It will fly away on you, buddy. No, now is the time. Questions, anything. We're certainly going to talk a lot tonight just about tempos. I'm sure at some point I'm going to come out with a tempos video, but really want to walk through kind of a bunch of different things that's available on the course. Certainly answer any questions from this weekend. I'm not going to lie. I certainly haven't watched every single video that I want to watch. I want to go back, make sure I watch the Bears game. I want to make sure I go back and watch a handful of other games. I'm excited about this game. I'm excited to go back and watch what Bill Belichick did to Tom Brady through the All-22. And what's tomorrow's video? Patrick Mahomes tomorrow. Got some really cool. Love what the Chiefs obviously been doing for a long time. But fun to see their design, how they were able to get to a bunch of touchdown passes. All sorts of good stuff. If there are questions, bruh, now is the time. Get them in. Keep that thing going here. Before the question comes up, I might as well answer it. What are we drinking this afternoon, this evening, in morning of a Padres season gone sideways? My goodness. Just the wheels come off, huh? We'll see. Hopefully they bounce back soon. Shane, my man. Ha ha. I like that joke, wink, wink. Really, the beautiful thing about the Tempos course is that it is intentionally plural. So it's all of the above. You know what I'm saying, TV. Who is your favorite offensive coordinators? Who are your favorite offensive coordinators? I think mine are the same as everybody else's. Love what the Chiefs have been doing for a long time. For me, it's never just like love the offense coordinator. It's got to be the relationship, right, between a dynamic group of players and a coordinator that's got the creativity, kind of the front edge element of being able to take advantage of what that skill set is. It doesn't matter what type of coach you are if you go out there and you don't have anything to work with, and it doesn't matter what type of player you are if you go out there and you're running some system that doesn't suit your skill set. So to me, I don't really delineate between like, hey, this is my favorite play caller, I'm going to watch him no matter what. If he's coaching a rec soccer league, it's probably not going to be for me. So it's always that blend of it. Paulo, how'd you feel if your coach skips the flight home and is caught partying? It depends. That's the nicest way I can put it. Certainly been in leagues and been in places where, those are not crazy situations. I certainly think being a coach comes a kind of added level of responsibility. Now, if it was at the high school level, that would probably be a bigger problem than if it was in, the league or NFL Europe. Woo! Miss Maisha coming in hot. I love it. I don't have my things anymore, or I haven't set up my sound effects. But I don't know. Who you got? I don't really have a favorite tonight. Probably, I'm going to say San Diego. I know it says LA, but I'm probably going to say the Chargers. Just because, I don't know. Is the game in LA? I'm guessing it is. I honestly have no preference. I think it's kind of fun for the league when the Raiders are good. I think Derek Carr playing at a high level is good for the league. That division is pretty fun to watch. But, I mean, I think Herbert has kind of set himself on a totally different trajectory than certainly I would have thought, than just about anybody would have thought. Otherwise, he would have gone first overall. But fun to watch him play at a really high level. It's just fun to see quarterbacks play at a really high level. So I'm looking forward to just a duel and see if I can stay up all the way to finish it. I don't know how people do it on the East Coast. Shane, did I catch Zach Wilson this weekend? I did not catch the whole game. Certainly want to go back and like skim through the all 22. Saw the end, saw the overtime. Obviously, big win. Anytime you get a win, I think that's always the thing that like I chuckle a little bit, really at any level of competitive sports. But when you're talking about Sundays, NFL, I mean, you can see what it's doing to, Jacksonville right now and what it does to people when they are used to being crazy competitive and not winning. It's a stressful situation. And so nice to see, Zach Wilson get a win. Nice to see him battle through some significant adversity. It's not going to get any easier. It's Alabama every week, and you're not rolling out there with Alabama for yourself. And so it's it's going to be a long season. What we got? Corey Lacey. Are the Cardinals for real? For real? That's another team. Honestly, bro, I don't know. I need to go back and watch them. I have not watched enough, if any, of the Cardinals besides for one game. So I'll probably go back and watch some Kyler Murray this week. There are a handful of other guys that are playing at a high level. It's one of those things for me. It's like the extremes. Guys that are playing at a really high level, and then guys that are probably underperforming is kind of where I find my most interest this time of the year. All right, we're going to talk some tempos. We're going to see if this works. All right, so new course came out today. Do me a favor. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. The link is in the description. I know it's not free. I know it's expensive. I think it's worth it and some. But it really, tempos to me is a great offensive advantage, whether you're coaching now, whether you're interested in coaching, whether you're trying to learn more about ball. My favorite thing about tempos is the ability to mix them up. I think originally when I was playing, I was all about trying to go as fast as possible because I thought it simplified things. Now being a little bit more coach-centric, I think there's a significant value in being able to go crazy fast and go crazy slow and really control that part of it. And so I'm really excited to share this course. We'll see if I can make this thing work. So hang with me right here as I switch screens. Living on the edge. Boom. There we go. Someone hit me with their favorite emoji. Make sure this thing works in the live stream. But you should be looking at the course via Teachable right now. So we're going to scroll down and we're going to look at the curriculum. Look at this. Okay, so obviously talk a little bit about what is tempos, why tempos. Obviously, I think that they're a lot of fun. I think that they add significant value to what you're doing in any offense. That's the other thing I love about the tempos course is it really is applicable to any offense, can implement these even mid-season. That's why I'm kind of trying to make it available, rush it out a little bit. But some of my favorite things about it, besides the fact that going through all the different tempo types, one of my favorite tempo types is this thing at the bottom here, bundled plays. So this idea of being bundled plays, to me, that's when you have the ability to call multiple plays at the same time. So they fall into like a unique bucket to be able to run those things crazy fast, but they're not simplified plays. It's not like bubble and inside zone. It's really specific plays, usually kind of can be bundled with shifts and motions, multiple movements, easy to communicate that you practice and rep, all those things. I love bundled plays. Then we talk about what tempo does to a defense. I think quarterback-centric wise here, the most important thing, really two of them, is it simplifies what the defense can do. And the other thing that did I not put in here? This idea to me is that it really takes all pressure away. It's just really hard to blitz a team that's going to tempo because usually those calls are a little bit more complicated for a defense. You have to be able to build them in with a play call. It's a hell of a lot harder to do that in a quick mindset if you're a defensive coach, defensive scheme. So then I talk about how it overlays into your offense specifically. And so whether it's kind of, whether I use the analogy architect, builder, owner, or renter. That's kind of like, is it your offense? Are you starting the program? Are you building this from the scratch? Are you the coordinator, or are you coming into someone else's system? Are you a renter? You're going to take bits and pieces of this, but you still want to make it applicable. Maybe you're a coach or player, not calling the plays. You're renting your kind of position there, but maybe you want to implement a little bit of going crazy fast. How can you do that? How does that start? And then really probably the part that everybody wants to know the most about is just the communication. How the hell do you do it? So we talk about all sorts of different ways, from kind of debunking learning myths to how we install it, how we communicate it at the line of scrimmage, how we snap the ball, how we're able to do different tempos all in the same time, how we learn it, teach it, certainly test our players, all sorts of different check with me elements. And so that's really the secret sauce, the communication, how it's taught, how it's installed. We talk about how we practice it, and really this carries over from off season to in season, daily integrations into how we practice it. We really have some variation of tempo every day, even if the players don't realize it. Touch on a couple hot topic issues for me there as far as the scout cards. Finally, another part that I think is really important to share is just the game day element. I think a lot of things, specifically for coaches, that kind of go unsaid is the ability to coach coaches in game. What are you looking for in game? What does the in-game sideline communication look like? How is that applicable to tempos and speed? Because when things are going fast, when they go well, it's great, but when they don't, you have a process to fall back to make sure that the communication is explicit and to be really locked in with that before it even gets into a tough situation. Talk about how tempo goes bad, what to measure. The best parts of tempo, which are a lot of fun for me, I think, quarterback-wise, it's simple, really easy formations, usually completions, less pressure, like more football, so many good things. And then finally, the tempo tricks. This is really probably my favorite part of the entire course. Got a little pop culture in there for you Seinfeld fans. But had a blast putting this thing together. See if I can come on back now. Look at that. Autofocus though. There it is. So it's a lot. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot of videos. I had a lot of fun putting it together. I really do think it's some of the best stuff that we do offensively is tethered to tempos. I think it puts a lot of stress on a defense. And if you're interested in any part of it, I'm going to almost guarantee that it's covered in the course. So please get over there, check it out. Let me know if you have questions specifically about tempos, and I will do my absolute best to answer them, because now is the time. Let's see. Corey Lacey, JT, when a trick play is called in the huddle, throwback screen, or double pass, does it have a specific name in the huddle, or is each aspect broken down one by one in the huddle? Corey Lacey, you are hitting me on a perfect sweet spot. So if you're in a huddle, now huddles to me are pretty old school. I don't know a whole lot of programs that huddle. If you're in like the league and there's a trick play, it's probably many parts of it are called out, kind of like a choir huddle, like blah, 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 and go down the line. Yes. If you're in an up-tempo world, for us, at the high school level, we carry a significant number of trick plays. They're almost always one word. Just easy to learn, usually tethered to a bucket, whatever that bucket is. Let's say, motorcycles mean that we're going to go fast and have an up-tempo trick play. They hear motorcycle, they know it falls into that kind of category. So for me, that's an easy way to do it. Excuse me. Jackson Palmer, what do you think of Trey Lance? I'm a big fan of Trey Lance. I did not watch a second of the 49er game this weekend, so I have no thoughts on that. Sorry. Doug Dyer, Justin Fields Game 2 video coming soon. Probably. Can't help myself with him and the Bears. I don't really want to do another one, but I feel like I should. So probably this week there will be another one. We'll see. I heard he played better. I hope it's better. Someone told me today that Nagy came out and said that he's still not the starter, which doesn't make me want to do another video, to be honest with you. But yeah. What else we got? Ted Gee. If you played for the Gunslingers, who would have been your favorite target? Who are the Gunslingers, bro? Let's see. How can Matt Ryan? Bro, I don't know anything about the Falcons. You guys are gonna have to come with some hotter takes than these. No, Doug. I've heard. Honestly, I already have the game downloaded. I'm gonna take a peek at it probably this afternoon, if not probably halftime of this Monday night game, just to see if I want to do it as the Wednesday video. But I'm excited to see him hopefully get a chance to go out there and be a little bit more, have a game plan called towards his strengths, I think is the easiest way I can say without, coming off on a sideways rant about play calling and those types of things. But, it's the other thing is like, I know it's easy to do nowadays, especially in how most of us consume content, myself, in the same category. It's just always available. There's always some talking head talking about it, but it was the first start. Everybody's feeling themselves out. I'm not gonna sit here and make excuses about it. It's got to get better immediately. Hopefully it gets better quick. Boom. Jared Meters. JT, starting right at the beginning again, trying to get my arm back, throwing a lot. Any tips? Sorry if I'm asking the wrong type of question. No such thing here. I wouldn't, if you're throwing a lot, that's not necessarily how I would get back up. There are so many guys out there, or so much information available right now about throwing, that it's just what I would consider so much better than anything that was available, when I was coming up trying to work on my mechanics, my motion, those types of things. If you're not following Tom House, you're probably not doing it right. There are a number of other quarterback guys specifically. I know a bunch of them kind of live on the Insta world. I'm not a huge Insta face guy, but I know that there are guys over there. I can think of guys like Jordan Palmer, Will Hewitt, Quincy Avery, that I think go into significant details about the throwing biomechanics part of it more than probably I'm comfortable with doing it. And to be honest with you, I'm just not that interested in it. But, for me, it's a lot of just going out and throwing, like, being as fluid as you possibly can be, building up your arm strength, definitely not doing too much. I get nervous when anyone says they're throwing a lot. What does that mean? I think of it as the same as I think of a pitcher. You wouldn't go out and throw 9 innings back-to-back days. So you don't want to go out there and throw 150 pitches, 150 throws back-to-back days. So just being really smart about that part of it, but also understanding that it's a whole body experience. There's torque, there's legs, there's power, ground force, rotational force. It's not just the arm. So good luck out there. What else we got? Oh man, yeah, Ted Yee. I don't know anything about the Gunslingers, buddy. Sorry. Delusional Pats fan. Yeah, Tom House does have an app. My son and I use it. Mustard. It's a pitching app. It's pretty cool. It really is. I think that they're actually, I've heard him say, I don't know Tom House at all, although sweet irony, I think he comes to Coronado pretty often to do throwing clinics. I'll probably get out there at some point. Know a handful of major leaguers that have worked with him or gone to his stuff before that have good things to say. But the throwing app is really cool. I think it's Mustard is the name of it. I don't know if it's spelled correctly, but it's something like that. And off the top of my head, pitching's a little bit different. The things that overlap to me, especially with the app that I love, is they talk a lot about your head movement. So if you're a pitcher and your head's falling off, it's the same thing if you're a quarterback and your head is falling off. So you really want to be able to, you hear me sometimes say, like, keep your eyes level, keep your shoulders level, those types of things that you don't want to be bouncing all around. Well, the app measures that. So if you're a young pitcher, even if you're an old pitcher, I'm a big fan of the app. Greg Ward. It's hard not to notice the tight front drop 8 coverage is becoming increasingly popular at the college level. Why isn't it more popular at the pro level? That's a good question. I think the drop 8 has been popular for a while in the league, certain down and distance. I think that the tight front drop 8 to me is so spread centric. Really, the tight front in general, is meant to kind of take away so much of the spread game and make those kind of interior gaps feel like they're clogged up with just the alignment of those 3 interior linemen. And so in the league, most of those teams just have the capacity to get out of 10 or 11 and get into multiple tight end sets, get into fullback sets. And so you can't do that stuff. You can't run those fronts very successfully for a long time because you'll just get washed down and get to the edge, where you can't do that in 10 personnel. And so it's a little bit more college centric. I think you see it, I remember seeing what I would consider the tight front or loose or cub variations of bear on third down forever in the league. It's just more popular now. I think you're right. Ooh, I'm going to butcher your name here. Cow Chang. Can this course be applied to 7-on-7, 9-on-7 flag football? Absolutely. As long as there's no restrictions in your league about being able to go fast, there absolutely are carryovers. And that's the beautiful thing about it. It's applicable to, I can't think of any level of football, any type of football that it wouldn't be applicable to. And the other part about it that I didn't really talk about, for me, I think you immediately energize your players as a coach when you start talking about up-tempo. Because up-tempo immediately means more plays, more stats, more touchdowns, more yards, more everything. Now, in the course, I go into detail if you're trying to create a certain kind of winning culture that you might not necessarily have the luxury of being up-tempo all the time. But the capacity to go up-tempo and have that be your norm or your base or woven into the fabric of your system, I think is invaluable. So yeah, absolutely can be tethered to a 7-on-7. I know the best 7-on-7 teams I see out here are no huddle as fast as you can go, whether it's wristband, whether it's signals. It's certainly an asset. Boom. Logan Stump Vernon just joined. So if you already answered, my bad. But any thoughts on Lance's first half? I have answered, and I have no thoughts. Well, that's an easy one. Rive and Beans. JT, is it harder to game plan for a dominant DB or D lineman? I would say D line. DB, most oftentimes they're going to leave them at corner. And even if they don't leave them at corner, if they move them at nickel or the slot, you can just go to the other side. Or in a D line, yeah, you can go to the other side, but if they move him around and you don't know where the hell he's going to be, or if he's, they can always move before the snap, it's crazy. It's a lot harder, I think, to plan for a D line. Hot damn, coming in hot. Love it. Super chat. Appreciate it. But boom. Have you ever had to wear anything that made you feel not comfortable throwing a football? Baker hasn't been accurate since the shoulder injury. Guessing he's wearing a brace. Keep up the great content. Hot damn. Have I ever had to wear anything? I've experimented in practice with a bunch of every glove you could possibly imagine. So there were certainly gloves that I didn't feel comfortable with, that I practiced with, but the ones that I used in the game, I felt really comfortable with. I never have had to wear like a brace. I've certainly had, what probably would be, I don't even remember exactly what they were diagnosed at, but some variation of AC sprain for my shoulder joints. Now, I was fortunate that I was usually my non-throwing shoulder that you would just kind of like land on. That, to the point where I had to hand off every ball with my right hand. So if I was under center turning around and going to my right, I would hand off like reverse. So, but I never wore a brace on that. I'm trying to think if I ever did. I had it wrapped and stuff, but for the game, I would just roll. And so not really. I could imagine that would be a significant hindrance. There's just no way around it. I don't know. I was really, really fortunate to be able to kind of just be, not hit very often, so that I didn't have to go through a significant number of injuries. The only other one that I would have is I still do have kind of like a thumb issue. I would say my one lingering thing about playing is a bit of a thumb issue. And when I was playing, I would wear a brace everywhere but at practice. And so like if I was in a meeting or if I was driving or if I was at home, I would have a brace on. But when I was out there playing, I would just it was never close to me being enough to be like, thinking about going on an IR or not playing. It was just part of the deal as far as like the throbbing, whatever you can handle pain-wise. But I could imagine that if you're, if it is so intense that you can't physically do your job, and if it's impacting your ability to be your ball control as a quarterback, I mean, it's brutal. Boom. Oh, Nick, bummer. You know what I'm saying? I have a video on Malik Willis. I need to do more. If you have college all 22, we are friends. Reach out. Bunch of different ways to get a hold of me. I need to get back on the college football all 22. Josh Holland. I've noticed not as much no huddle in the NFL this year other than 2-minute drills. Think it is because it's early in the season. I don't know. I don't know if I've noticed. I honestly haven't watched that much of it, especially broadcast wise, and it's kind of hard sometimes to tell all 22 what the tempo is. For me, just because it's quote unquote tempos, I still think that they're, even what maybe some people would consider not tempo stuff is tempo stuff for me. So if there's a significant shift, like multiple people are moving in a motion, those are kind of up-tempo movements because the defense can't get set. You're taking advantage of movement and the time between when you're set and the ball is snapped that I think for me is tethered to going in and out of different tempos. It could possibly also have to do with, maybe a higher number of younger guys playing. I don't know. That sounds like an excuse though. To me, it's more, the league is always going to be a little bit more huddle-centric because I think the design of some of those plays and the movements and the multiple shifts and motions, you have to be in a huddle. And it's so easy because of the mic into the headset. Like even with the mic into the headset, you can still see even the best of the best use a wristband. So, I mean, just think about how long those play calls must be to be able to do that type of communication. There's just no way you can signal that many things to that many people and change it by week. So the adaptive element of the league and how much the game plan change, how much they carry week to week, I think just kind of fits into a little bit more of a huddle-centric league where I think at the lower levels of football, there's a lot more carryover week to week. You don't have quite as many new concepts or new ways to be able to dress things up. But I could be off my rocker. Ooh. As Coach Greenfield, as a head coach OC, what guidance did you give your DC? I know the term complementary football is in vogue, I'm guessing. Just wondering your thoughts. That's a good question. The guy who I work with, DC, is one of my good friends. We played college ball together. He's an outstanding coach. There's no way I would coach without him doing this. I don't give him any guidance. I probably give him occasionally unsolicited advice that he, probably says like, oh, we'll think about it, and then not do. But he knew exactly what we wanted to be offensively and as a program, and believes in those types of philosophical approaches to how we play both offense, special teams, and defense, but understands how the game is, in my opinion, so slanted favorably towards the offense and the rules towards the offense, especially even more at the lower levels. So there's a certain understanding of that coming into it, but there's no, I'm really, really fortunate to be able to coach with him. And so I don't have to, there's no guidance. If anything, he's guiding me. Gardening tips. Yeah, that would be a bummer. Adrian Robbins. For the coach up in the box that isn't the play caller, what is the most important thing to communicate and what should they look for? Oh, that's a good question, Adrian. I mean, it really depends. It depends on the role of that coach. It depends on their relationship with the play caller. It depends on kind of the way that the game is going. There's a lot of things it depends on. Unfortunately, that's a really crummy answer. I think the best thing you could probably do is to ask the play caller, what should I look for? How can I help you? What can I do to help? Whether it's, watch a certain DB, watch a certain alignment, watch a certain adjustment, watch a certain shell coverage, to be explicit about what the expectations are, I think is the best way to help. But, for me, sometimes I have them look at specific things. Sometimes it's, let me know if I'm missing anything. Sometimes it's, simple as down and distance. So can be all over the map. Alexander Wilson. If you were coaching a young QB, what offense would you implement for him? Air Coryell, West Coast, or neither? I mean, I'm going to operate under the assumption that this is a good young QB. I would have a system. I personally, and this is just me, now I know there's a lot of people out there that love them a good system. My favorite systems are adaptive enough to be able to take advantage of whatever that best player's skill set is. So if the best player is the quarterback, then let's make sure our system is adaptive enough to be able to take advantage of the throws that they are great at. So, to me, the answer isn't, air raid, West Coast, digit, whatever. It's what does the quarterback do well? What do the other players run well? What do we do well as a unit? And can we go out and rep the hell out of it and get better and better? And so, there's no system answer. If I was playing quarterback and I just wanted to spin it every single play, air raid-ish type of things. But I'm someone who believes in kind of a comprehensive run game too, so that probably wouldn't be satisfying to me. It's kind of, for me, being adaptive enough to take advantage of whatever they do well. Do they throw a great deep ball? Do they throw a great post, a slant, a glance, an out, a comeback? Do they throw great on the run? Are they able to extend plays? Do they have great vision? Can we spread them out and go empty? Or are they big? They love play action. Can they run? Can we have some quarterback runs? So, that to me is more important than being tethered to a specific system. Oh, man. Paul Paulo. In very general terms, why would a team play man-to-man against a very mobile quarterback? There's a lot of reasons to play man-to-man versus any quarterback. Versus a very mobile quarterback, you play man because you think that your defenders are better than their perimeter offensive players. You don't have to rush 5. You can rush 3, have 2 spies. You can rush 4, have a spy. There's a lot of ways to take advantage of a mobile quarterback and still play man-to-man coverage. So I don't think that they're necessarily either or, black and white. Coach Grays. Love it. When going at fast tempo, what defensive scheme do you want or like to face, and why? I don't know. Honestly, and this isn't me dodging the question, there isn't one that I don't want to face. I think that it's so much harder for a defense to operate in a complex system versus a crazy fast offense. And I don't mean crazy fast players. I just mean the tempo of it. That they might have a few one-off calls to be like max pressure or unique kind of exotic calls, and that's at the highest elite levels. But if you're going fast, it's hard for anybody at any level. I don't care if it's Sundays to be able to get lined up correctly all the time, especially if you're presenting multiple flanks. So different edges, it's not always 10 personnel 2x2. If you're in multiple personnel groups, you got a nub, you got a wing, you got a bunch, you've got a condensed set, you've got a expanded set. It's just, that's tough on anybody, let alone, high school level for me. I think the easiest one is just crazy off coverage, soft zone coverage, that you don't really see that much anymore, just like a soft quarter shell, be able to call whatever you want. But, you don't see a whole lot of that anymore. To me, it's just about understanding what their kind of core, who are they, what's the defensive DNA, what's their day one installation, and if you can kind of peel back the layers to see how the system is built, you can have an idea. But the other thing about being a up-tempo or have the capacity to go fast offense, it makes people do crazy things. Like, it makes people be base. It makes people try new things. It makes people think, hey, our normal stuff isn't going to work, so let's get nuts and try this. And if they're doing that, they probably don't have a whole lot of experience with it. And if they're doing that, then you really want to get into some exotic stuff because they won't have the answers because they haven't worked through all the problems. So you start getting into like fast 3s, fast 4s. And if you have the capacity to go fast and shift and motion, you usually got an opportunity to pop some big plays. Great question, though, as always. All right, couple more here. Time is getting close. Gotta go check on my dudes doing homework. Let's see. Last one here. What do we got? Oh, Billy. I love your videos, JT. Thank you for all your work. I've learned so much just off your YouTube videos. Thank you, Billy. You're welcome. That's very nice. Appreciate that. Gardening tips. What, with the amount that you use your voice for cadences, audibles, etc. as a QB, do quarterbacks typically have some sort of routine to keep their voice healthy? No. And to be honest with you, I think only the people that really use their voice consistently are guys at the highest level nowadays. I feel like most people, maybe it's just me, most people just go off the clap. But especially if you're in shotgun, it's just so much easier. Although, sure as hell, some people can't clap very well. I'm learning the hard way. Couple more. Clark, yo JT, I'm the offensive coordinator and I'm coaching a very talented high school QB. That is a good problem to have. Who will probably play at the next level. Do you think I should be teaching him more advanced playbook language? This is a question that comes up every once in a while. I don't necessarily, I think I know what you mean by playbook language quotes. I think for me, and this has nothing to do with, whether the player is going to play at the next level or not. I think there's occasionally a level of responsibility for people who aspire to play at the next level to at least provide a blueprint or the scaffolding to what it might be like at the next level system-wise. There's just no way you can replicate it at the high school level. For me, the thing that I love to do with all of our players, whether they're going to aspire to play at the next level or not, is we never really stop installing. So we're constantly adding things. And just because we add it doesn't mean that we'll call it. And I just like it because it keeps it fresh. I know that some people probably think that that's the absolute wrong thing to do. We're only going to do what we do, and they're going to have to adjust to us. I just don't think that that's the best way to play ball. I think it's more fun. Refreshing when you come in and they're like, well, what kind of crazy stuff we got this week? Who's getting the big plays? Those types of things that are just makes it fun for the players. And I have fun with the design element of it too, but it's for the players and really pushing the quarterbacks to be like, hey, if you prove to me that you can do this, 1, 2, 3 read, half field read, next time we'll do a full field read, or next time, we'll have a shot here and then we'll ask you to flip your hips and go back the other way. But they don't prove that they can do it, then we're not going to do it. But it's never going to ever be a static playbook for me, just because I don't think it's ever a static playbook at the highest levels. I don't think that's how you play football at the highest levels. And so to me, it wouldn't be, just because he's going to play at the next level doesn't mean that you wouldn't do that. So I would challenge you to just keep that going. Now, you're certainly going to overreach sometimes and have to pull it back and kind of take things out, which is fine. It's adaptive. I always tell people it's not a static process, game planning. We'll put things in Wednesday or Thursday, and we'll put things in on Monday, and they'll be out Tuesday. So that's just the way that it goes for us and how we operate. So appreciate it. Boom. CS, appreciate it, homie. Hey, Rick. Tackles are always asking. All right, y'all. I'm off. I appreciate it. Do me a favor. Please check out the course. Please, if you want to get on my great side, spread the word on the course. I certainly appreciate the support. As always, thank you. I will see you next time. Have a good one.